My friends, we have two people here, very strong women that are leaders with Family Forward. Erica, Erica, introduce yourself. The camera's going to look at you.
Hi, I'm Erica Chianelli, Executive Director of Family Forward.
Hi, I'm Sarah Harte, the Program Manager at Family Forward.
Erica and Sarah, we are honored to have you here with us today. The work you do is just so important, and I just we are grateful that you're here, grateful for the work that you do.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. This is great.
Yeah, it's cool to get to know you guys, and we'll dive in more, but just to hear more of the story. Sometimes as community members, you don't really understand or know the things that go into making our communities stronger and better, and how many people that have this like boots on the ground approach to making our communities a better place. And what you all do with Family Forward, as our audience will get to know here in a minute, is very much that boots on the ground approach. So kudos to you, and we're excited to dive in today. But we're going to talk about some local faves first.
For sure, yes.
Who knew we like local? I mean, who knew?
Yeah,
all right.
Right. So one of the segments on our show is that we like to talk about what your favorites are. What's your favorite local places? So where do you guys like to go? What's your favorite?
I'm going to start. When you asked me this question originally, I knew right away Donkey Inn on Plum Grove Road in Palatine is our spot. I love going there. The servers are fantastic, and they seem to know everybody who walks through the door. It's full of regulars, and I'm always one for hot breakfast. I'm always getting an omelet or a scramble for lunch or for dinner. I love the Donkey Inn.
Fantastic.
I'm like ashamed to say that I've never been to the Donkey
But you
Inn.
drive past it.
I
every
drive
day.
past it, so like shame on me.
Shame on
like,
you,
what am I doing? Now I have to go.
You do?
So,
Good.
yeah.
But you know what? Actually, and I'm going to tell you the one thing that I remember missing out on. There was my friends, I think, went in the fall. They went to the Donkey Inn for polka, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love polka! Like that's so great." So, and that told me, I'm like, okay, clearly the Donkey Inn's got the vibe. So, yeah, it's got to be fun. So, but you've never been there for polka, right?
No, but you've given me something to
Yes.
look into.
We're gonna all let's group
Polka.
outing
Polka.
Yes.
to Donkey
Do,
Inn.
do,
for
do you
polka.
know how to polka?
Yes, I know.
Okay, let's do it right now. We're
Right
live.
now. You
Right here.
wanna
We
do it
have
right now?
we have a place to do this.
Right. In this
Can you do
little
it?
spot.
Yeah, I think you could do it. All right. We had if you did it, I would have been like awesome.
I mean, you need a partner for that. So.
Abby, thanks so much for watching. I see your comment with ready are really hard to hear. We hear it on all of our sides, so I'm not sure if it's volume or if it's something else. If anybody else is experiencing that problem, please let us know. But all signs are pointing forward for us. So please let us know in the comments if you're still not hearing it. But thank you. Sorry to interrupt. But
No,
just wanted to address
we
that.
got to definitely take care of that. So, all right, so Erica, you're up.
Sure. Well, for me, I'm going to pick Cocoa and Blue. It's a downtown Arlington Heights cafe, coffee shop, meeting place. I just love that place. They're so good about giving back to the community. But for me, it's like the vibe. You're talking about
Totally,
vibe.
yeah.
You go in that place, and not only is like the furniture super cool because it's not all matchy,
Oh, cool.
vintage stuff, but like modern stuff. But like the energy in there, and I go there for, if we have meetings, I'll meet people there, and you see other people in meetings, you see friends just chit-chatting, you see families with their strollers. It's just a really cool place, and they have good food and drinks in there, so I just love going there.
Yeah, it's a cool spot.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm in Arlington Heights for like a coffee meetup, like that's the spot
It is,
to go
totally.
to. But you're totally right. It is definitely the vibe. You walk in there, the music,
Yeah.
like the people either like connecting or people working on their computers. Great drinks that are unique. It's not just like your normal
Right.
coffee shop too. So it's
cool.
it's a win-win. And then
I like those different types. I like different types, actually.
Yeah.
You know, like the different flavors and stuff. Yeah, that's
so
fun.
do we both have homework then? You've never been
Yeah,
to
no,
Cocoa
I've never-
Blue,
no.
and I got to go to the
I know, I
Donkey
gotta
Inn, and
learn
we got to
Tokyo,
report
too.
back.
That is going to be on
Okay,
the list too.
we'll do that.
Learn
Okay.
polka. Yes, I'm sure Carrie will be very happy that I said that.
Yeah, we're gonna delete edit. Can we? We can't edit live,
Cannot.
can we?
Nope.
Darn. Okay.
Nope, nope,
I'm not. You don't want to see me dance. Let's just call it that way.
Well, we're excited to talk about Family Forward. That's what we're here to do today, is to get into what it is that you all do and the impact that you have in the community. So let's start off with let's get a little background on you guys. How did you guys give us a little background on you, and how did you kind of get to this point where you're at Family Forward?
Sarah, you want to start?
About me personally or about our agency?
Kind of, let's get some background on you.
Yeah.
Oh, about me personally? How nice of you to ask. I've always worked in human social services in different capacities with different vulnerable populations. I live in Arlington Heights, and I was familiar with this organization, and the job came open, and I got it. I love working with people who live around me, just regular folks who've got kids in the same schools as my kids. It truly is a local, community-based organization. Our donors are local, our volunteers are local, and so are the families that we help.
Awesome.
I love your passion. We've known each other since like kind of the beginning of COVID, right? I think it was Faith Community Homes, right? Was it that? It was our 4th Love Local video as part of that series throughout COVID. So like your passion, it was there then, and I even still see it more now. And have you grown in the organization since then, or has it always been the same position?
It's always been the same position, but the landscape that we work in has really changed quite a bit.
Yeah. Beautiful. Cool.
So for me, my background is it's always been in the nonprofit sector. Went to college and studied, communications and social justice, and I minored in peace studies and sociology. So at the time, I'm like something nonprofit-y.
Yeah.
But I've been a nonprofit once since I graduated from college. Different organizations. This is my first social service organization, though, that I've been part of. But it spoke to me and resonated with me because I live in Arlington Heights and we're based in Arlington Heights. So to be able to have an impact on the community where I live and now work is amazing. And like Sarah said, we're helping local people. They are people that, their kids go to school with our kids, and there's such a great need. So that really spoke to me. Through my church, we had supported Faith Community Homes, in the past, but I never really paid attention to it. And then when this job opened up, it was just like the perfect fit. So I've been here for about 16 months now.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that you guys are like in touch with people who just have needs to, and you're willing to just go out there and just figure out how can we help you. I love that both of you have that about your spirit.
Yeah, it's very uplifting. I feel like the first time I talked with you, like I think it was maybe a minute and a half into it, and I'm like, oh yeah, she's my type of people. Like, this conversation is going to be great. Yeah. Well, that's good. We're live, so that's good. But your passion came through, and your true genuineness to just really just want to help people and want to do whatever it takes to be able to do that. It came out then really quickly, and it obviously permeates. So Family Forward, give us a brief history about Family Forward. Or do you have
thank
something
you for
else?
The swag.
Oh, we do have swag.
Thank you for
We
the
like
swag for
swag.
the family
Thank
swag.
you.
This
We're
is like
really
Jay
love.
Leno-ish. Should we
Yeah.
cheers?
Yeah,
Should
cheers.
we cheers? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we got cheers with the...
Cheers with the.
Okay, cheers there.
Yeah. Okay, so definitely.
Brief history of
Sure.
Family
Well,
Forward.
I can just give you the typical spiel that I would like to just say about Family Forward. People will say, what do you guys do? What are you all about? Family Forward was established in 2003. So this is actually our 20th anniversary, 2023, which is
Wow.
exciting that we're
That's awesome.
able here today to share our story with everyone. We are formed from an idea that the Arlington Heights Ministerial Association came up with for a need of affordable housing and those sorts of issues that they kept seeing in the community. So they came up with this concept of, at the time, called Faith Community Homes. We've now changed our name to Family Forward. But it comes down to this. We exist to be able to help low-income working families in the northwest suburbs on their path to become financially stable and independent, and we do that through rental assistance, mentoring, and other support services. So that's pretty much the gist of what we do. We can go into, all the details of that, but that's basically what it comes down to, helping local people, low-income working people in the northwest suburbs on those, trying to become financially independent.
Yeah. You're helping them. We're all raised differently. We go through different things. We have different backstories. Each of us. You guys help solidify a foundation for them with just good financial literacy, right? And really helping them set that foundation so that they could grow and that they could help themselves be them best selves in their best lives. It's there's so much that you guys do. So I want to kind of just start start with this slowly, but it's for us. We named the title of the show "Raising Strong Families" because that's really what it's about, right? It's like if each of us in our communities either could help people and uplift our families, and within our own homes, if we could take care of our families, like we could have stronger communities. It's about us helping each other, like come up and grow too. So, can you tell us about? Pick one thing that you want to start with. What do you do with to help raise strong families?
So I guess we should start with rent assistance, because honestly, that's the reason that most people call us to begin with. People get in contact with us because they are not making ends meet, and most of them are in danger of losing their housing because they're in some sort of financial crisis. So with our rent subsidy, now we only pay a portion of the family's rent to their landlord. We can't pay all of somebody's rent because nobody gets a free ride in Family Forward. With our rent subsidy, we can stabilize their housing, right? We're paying part of their rent, so they're no longer at risk of eviction or displacement. They can stay in this apartment. We buy them a little time to figure out what's next. So we all know that parents who are under stress, that trickles down to their children.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Major.
Children who live with housing instability don't do as well at school. So first, we can stabilize a family's housing, keep them where they're at, and that frees up a little bit of room in the parent's brain to think about what's next.
Thinking about that, if there's not that type of help available, the reality is that family's probably moving a lot. And even with my own kids, I think about just trying to make sure that they are stable and set and have their roots planted, because it's just so important. But for me and my family, like, there were some moves that were necessary. If I was in a situation where I needed that type of assistance, to be able to keep my kids stable and rooted is just, speaking from as a former teacher, my gosh, so important.
Sure, and some families are in housing that they just simply can't afford, and they are going to need to move, but we can remove the crisis from the situation, and we can keep them out of eviction court, right? And wait until their lease is up, and then they can figure out what their next move will be.
Yeah, it's like they can have a plan at that point, rather than just having to react so much. It's like you give them that chance to think about what their next step needs to be.
Right. There's other sources of rent assistance out there, and you can apply maybe at your township or maybe at another charity, but they're only going to help you with 1 month. And as an organization, we understand that 1 month of financial support isn't going to get you out of the hole that you're in. So that's the first part of our program, is rent assistance, putting dollars towards the problem to remove the emergency.
Yeah, and it gives some peace of mind as well, is what I'm hearing you say. So during our prep talk and from getting to know you all over the last couple of years, that's a foundational piece, and that's really taken just to clear the mind, right? You just said it yourself, but your goal is really to help people grow fiscally, right, and helping them with good habits and whatever those things are. So you do tell about like rent assistance, and then from rent assistance, what are some other things that you do to be able to help the families grow?
Well, yeah, sure. Well, I was just going to say the real unique part of our program is our mentoring aspect. And you talked about trying to help families grow. It's really a transformation. And it's not just about the finance part of it. There's so much more to that people have to be ready for this transformation holistically, not just on paper with their numbers and all that kind of stuff. So our mentoring is huge. We have volunteer mentors that work with our families, and we have 2 mentors for every family. And these volunteer mentors work with them, of course, on their finances and budgeting and that sort of thing, but they're their support system that they don't have. We can take it for granted that we're having a bad day or we're having a great day, and we just text our sister or text our brother, text our spouse, whatever. We get feedback, and like we feel that we're fulfilled in that way because we have someone to talk to. Most of our families don't have any support system, so these mentors do that for them. They're their cheerleaders, they're their shoulder to cry on, they're their counselor, they're their therapist, they're their, mentor in general in life, so it's more than that. So that's the key, and they meet with them weekly. This is a weekly meeting over the course of 2 years. They're there to help them, set goals, reach their goals, but they're little goals. It's not like they have a meeting and it's like, okay, you need to get a better job. That's big, right? We're talking little things for next week. What kinds of jobs do you think you could, just make me a list of 5 things. It's very specific, small goals that they can work towards throughout the whole course of 2 years. And our mentors have become part of their life, and after they are even graduated for our program, they're still connected to them in some way. So that's really the core to, I think, what we do is the mentoring piece of it. It's not just, here's some money every month, good luck. It's much more than that.
I feel like that gives so much hope.
Yes.
I grew up in a place where low income, and so you see a different side when you're going through those things. But hope isn't always there when life punches you in your teeth, especially if you don't have like a support system.
Right.
For us, like we always say, it takes a village. Like it takes a village, even if it's one other person that is listening and understanding, and like, you can do this, like just one foot in front of the other. So I think that's a beautiful thing. And through that mentorship, you talked about like they grow in like is it become friends type thing, or is it like the like family type bonds?
At the beginning it's difficult because we're asking the family to reveal all of their truth, which sometimes isn't pretty. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes people are
Don't
really
want to face it.
in a crisis. So it takes a while to develop a trusting, respectful relationship, and for the family to understand that the mentors are not there to judge. The mentors are there to help you figure out what's next. And we know that families in crisis don't just need money. They need a plan. But when you are in a state of overwhelm, it's difficult to figure out what your plan's going to be, and then it's difficult to figure out what steps you need to take next.
Yeah. Sure, if you've never been down that road before, if to have that mentor, I think would be like, gold mine's the wrong word, but it's something that it's helping you get to that next level.
Yes.
Yeah.
I say family because that's what we call our participants, but really we have lots of different family compositions because families come in different shapes and sizes, but every parent is working full time. And every family has a child age 22 or younger in the home. So these are working parents, right? They're working, they're driving their kids all over Kingdom Come, cooking, cleaning, laundry. And remember, they don't have laundry in their apartment. Generally speaking, they got to trudge to the
more
basement
work
or
and
go.
more
It's
time.
so much more work being low income in this community.
Yes.
And before you know it, it's 11 o'clock at night and it's time to go to bed.
Right.
And all of your, I need a better job, I need to pay down my debt.
Right.
It doesn't get done
Yeah.
because
Right.
you're so busy
spinning your
living
wheels
your
instead-
life and barely scraping by and stressing out about every penny.
I would
Right.
think some of them maybe working 2 jobs
Oh,
too
plenty.
to be able
Yeah.
to do that. So we work single jobs and we do that. We still struggle with the time that we
Right.
have, right? Especially when you put kids and taking them to things and doing all those
And
things.
the
So
homework
now you
and-
had 2 jobs on top of that stress.
Yes.
So it goes back to like your first initial thing is like, let's clear some,
Right.
like clear this out of your head so that you could just focus in on, whatever that next right move is for you. I would think it would be different
Well, one
for
thing
everybody.
that Sarah has brought up to me before, which I think is totally true, is the mentors, just by having that person for them to talk to, they obviously help them improve their confidence, but
Yes.
just state the fact. You're doing awesome. You have 3 kids, you're single, you're working 2 jobs, and you're surviving. Like, that's
You're
amazing.
tougher than anybody else
Like,
out
they
there.
might not even
Like-
realize that, and that's something that the mentor can just point
yeah.
out.
Call them out.
No
Let's-
one's ever called them out on
Say
that
it.
before.
Yeah,
Like, that's
just to
amazing.
say.
I've seen shame because of where somebody is at, and shame is a powerful emotion that
Yeah.
could tear you down and bring you down. I don't say tear you down, but it could bring you down, and it's harder to lift up when there's a lot of shame there, right? So yeah, I think that's a pretty awesome thing. We talked about it was talking about modeling behavior on our prep call that we were going over those to be able to prep for this thing. I can't talk. So talk about the modeling behavior, because it intrigued me, and it almost maybe gave me some flashbacks too. So talk to us a little bit about just the modeling behavior piece that you guys support with.
Well, we know that every family's circumstances are different, and that's why every family has their own mentors to to help them figure out a plan that will work for them. We don't have a family forward recipe for success. Here's 3 steps to follow for financial stability. Boom, you're a success, right? Because everybody's got different issues to work on. Some people have an income problem, so they work with their mentors on applying for a higher paying job. Do you need to go back to school to finish your degree or your professional certificate? Can you have a second job? What can you do to bring in more income so when our program is over, you can support yourself? Some people have an expense problem and they're just spending too much, so the mentors help them develop a household budget and learn how to live more frugally sometimes. So you were asking about modeling behavior, and sometimes the mentors have to say, look, you got to choose when you're going to go out to dinner, when you're going to get fast food. And then the parents are starting to say to their kids, we're choosing not to go to the drive-through tonight. We're going to go home and I'll figure something out for dinner because we're trying to save money. We're trying to live
They
more
have
frugally.
those skills now.
Yeah.
They have that confidence that I can do this and be okay. And like having that brain space, like they talked about, like with, like what you talked about with being able to think, like that kind of prep work is only possible when you're not in the chaos of your own brain.
We have, I'm sorry to interrupt, we have a mentor who is talking with her family about the importance of being able to say no. You can say no
For
to your kids.
Yeah.
They're going to be mad at you, but
You
whatever.
should.
Your kids are going to be mad
The
all
world's
the time,
going to say no to you a
right?
lot.
Yeah.
And you can say no to your colleague who asks you to do something that's out of line. You can say no to your girlfriend who's demanding of your time. It's okay to say no.
Right.
You have to protect yourself and your time, and you have to be okay with it.
Yeah. I 100%. To go back to the kid thing, to me that's impactful. My parents, I think it was an intake problem and probably a little bit of an expense problem as we look back with the things that they've gone through. But that talk wasn't there. I heard that from like my grandparents, or like my grandpa would be always like, pay yourself first. Like that was something that stuck in my head. But as a kid, you're chiseled by your parents, and whether it's not good or bad, it's just it's what it is. But to see your parents be vulnerable, to have some humility, to be like, look, we can't go because we got to pay a bill, so we're growing. You think about that kid as they get into adulthood, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, we have to be frugal. We have to be. They're thinking about that thing. So I think of those kids as like the parents are chain breakers from getting and trying to get that support, but then what they're passing on to their kids is there.
You nailed it right there by saying chain breakers. That's an awesome way to think of it. We like to think of, we have our set mission statement and all that, but in the end, it's all about breaking the cycle of poverty in the end, right? It comes down to that, and we're trying to, change it for the next generation, and that's what we're trying to help our families do, have your kids learn from your newfound behaviors and habits and that sort of thing, so that they're not in the same situation when they're on their own and that sort of thing. So that's huge. I mean, I know my kids know it from me, and I think it's so funny. My daughter will like run to the store for me to get something, and she goes, Mom, I used your rewards card and I got the cheapest brand for this. I'm like, good. So like that stuff people pick up on that, whether you're doing it intentionally or not with your kids. They do pick up on behaviors and stuff that they're learning from home, for sure.
Yes. It really just establishing, some good solid skills that the kids can take with them as they become adults and raise their own kids. That's just such a beautiful thing, and to not feel that chaos. There is that quote that you all mentioned about housing. Yes, you'll do it justice more than I.
Housing is the engine that drives the chaos of poverty. And it's true that poverty is chaotic. And without housing, everything is worse, right? Your employability, your parenting skills, your physical health, and your mental health are all affected when your housing is at risk.
Yes, it's so true. My gosh, so true. And I don't want to.
Different type of fear. A different type of, that's a lot. That emotion is, especially when you have kids, that's not easy to be able to go through. So,
some families are in financial distress because of a result of bad luck. somebody got sick and they missed work, or somebody died, or there was a bad car repair, or something bad happened and the family didn't have enough money in the bank to accommodate for that, so they entered this downward spiral. Other people are in financial distress as a result of bad decision making. Maybe they got involved with the wrong person and they decided to have a baby anyway, or maybe they made the wrong choice about a job. But it doesn't matter, right? Because families come to us in financial distress. The reasons don't really matter. Our job is to help them figure out the steps they need to take to improve and to move forward. And we believe that everybody is capable of change with the right structure and the right support. Our structure might not be the right structure for everybody, but we know that everybody is capable of change regardless of the reasons that got them here.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful, non-judgmental way of approaching it, you know, so that it makes it so that you're accessible and approachable, you know, to anybody. And it doesn't have to be that, so, you know, there's certainly a stigma when it comes to asking for help and things like that. I'm sure you experience that a lot. And do you all get people who, you know, were referred to you, like, you need to go see these people, and then, you know, they're a little resistant, you have to win them over? How does that?
Well, there's definitely, obviously, there's a lot of need. And that's one thing that we can try to build awareness from just through this, is there's great need in our local communities. You know, we might live in a bubble and not see it on a daily basis because we're not paying attention, but appearances are deceiving. You don't know what's happening to your neighbor or the mom that you see at the park or the kid that's in school with your kid. You don't know really what's happening behind there. So the need is great. We get referrals from, you know, Google. People will research and type in, you know, rental assistance in the northwest suburbs, for instance, and we might pop up. Or churches refer to us, social workers from different schools, the villages, the townships, all those sorts of places are fellow nonprofits. We refer back and forth to each other because they might have a resource we don't have, or vice versa. So in the end, all we all are trying to do is try to help serve those in need. Pool our resources together. How best can we serve them? So that's really, you know, we get referrals from all kinds of places. But you're right. People do come to us and they think, oh, they're just going to give me some money for my rent. And that's not what we do. We want the bigger picture to try to help them on this transition or transformation in their life. So they might not be ready for our program because when they hear what it entails, that they have to work with a mentor on a weekly, they have to be committed to it and divulge, be ready to be vulnerable and divulge just personal information with someone. If they're not ready for that, then, you know, they're not going to be in our program. So we do have some limits in that regard for sure.
The people who are most successful in our program are ones who don't want to be in a program at all, but they recognize that something needs to change because they don't want their kids to live like this anymore.
Oh, wow.
And they know they need help, and they might not know even what that help looks like, but they open themselves up and they apply for our program and go through the process because they want a better life for their kids and they're willing to do the work. They want to be financially independent. They want to be done with the meetings, but they understand that they need the help and guidance and accountability along the way.
It's courageous to do that, but I also think of like people that don't do that, and you're like, it's okay. Like, we all struggle in some way or another. We all struggle with something, right? So if more people could come up and be like, I need to put in this work. Something's not right. And I want it better for them, you know, for my kids. So let's go get help. It's hard, and sometimes as an adult, that's a punch to the chin a little bit to be able to work through. But on the flip side of that, when you go through that program and all of a sudden you're stopping your kid from, and you're going to fast food every night and you're putting better systems in place and you're getting yourself moving forward over this journey and learning, your life's better, but you're this kid's life and the people that are around them, you're uplifting them and you're helping them be better for their kids. And that so that, hey, it's okay not to be perfect, mom and dad. Like, just let's learn and grow together. To be able to show your kids that, to me, is like, to me, it's one of the most impactful things that a parent could do, because we all are going to struggle with something as humans. So, I just totally dig it.
You know, and on that point, it's like you're only going to give them what they need, right? Like you're not going. It's not a situation where they have to go through, like you said before, like some sort of formulaic thing where they're going to get something that they don't necessarily need. They're only going to get what they need. If they only need whatever it is, that little guidance on whatever that might be for them, that's all they're going to get. That's all. And so someone could be confident in coming to you knowing that just figure this part out. Once you get this figured out, you're going to feel more confident standing on your own 2 feet, right?
Well, and that's exactly why our approach with our volunteer mentors is so unique, is because everything's customized for the client. Our mentors meet the clients where they're at. They're not coming with this binder that says, okay, let's go through page 1. Now let's go through. It's not.
Yeah.
We have resources that the mentors can pull from, but we leave it up to them to figure it out with their client on what's the best approach, what kinds of, exactly like you said, where are they struggling, how can we help them in that regard. But it's very customized, and that's the difference. It's not a one fits all type of thing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
What do you, we talked about hope earlier. Overall, as you look to the future and leading the organization, what do you see? And what brings you hope? And I hope that didn't just put you on the spot, because we didn't talk about this too much, but I feel like it's inside just because we've talked so much. You seem like a Harte person, so yeah. There's a question.
Gosh, this question, like, that doesn't keep me up at night, but I think about this constantly. And we're at a transition kind of right now in our organization, thinking about this, right? It's our 20th year. The climate in our community right now is so different in terms of the needs that come up and the lack of like affordable housing, for instance. All this stuff
Which
coming
is insanely, rents, that's a whole other podcast.
A whole nother,
that's
a whole nother thing. But I mean, what gives me hope for the future of not only our organization, but just in general, is I feel like just talking to you guys, I've met so many good people that have such a heart for giving back. And I feel like people are, not that it's the trendy thing, but there are a lot of people that are like, what can I do? What can I do? And that gives me hope. There are plenty of people out there that they're doing good work for themselves and making a good living, but they're kind of at a stage in their life now, there's got to be more than that, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm meeting a lot of people like that. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And we talk about this a lot. You can still do well in life financially, but do good for the world.
That's it.
And I'm like,
you can create wealth and
I
do
know,
all of that, but you could
right?
also just be a good human and lift others
so
up.
let's hope that gives me hope. And I feel like I found just by meeting you two, just alone, right? Like, there's plenty of people out there, and it's like, let's try to build on that and like pull them together. And like, that's how we were just talking about us walking in here. There's so many volunteers out there and good people, and like how that's the future, I feel like. And I feel like even the younger generation.
We hope so, right?
Right?
Because the other side doesn't sound like fun. Yeah.
They're getting excited about like giving back, meeting all these young professional groups that are like, how can we help you? How can we like, it's exciting. We just started an advisory board for that reason. Younger professionals to be part of our advisory board. It's kind of like their way to give back. You know, they're working their jobs, but they still want to do something for the community.
It's a beautiful
so that's
thing.
exciting.
If we all do that, like, the world's a better place.
Totally.
Like, we all do something good in our local communities. Our communities are stronger. Our communities are more vibrant.
And we'll build stronger families.
Yeah, it'll build stronger families.
Right.
It's I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know if it's just like the world has gotten really transparent because of the social platforms and how we use our phones and all those things. But like, I feel the same way, which is like, for us, this is like why we're going to build Love Locals, because we want to amplify the voices that are within our community, because we got work to do. Let's not say that we don't, because there is a lot of work to do. But if we could amplify the voices, bring more awareness, more people do good, all of a sudden the village becomes stronger because of that. So I love that you said that. The next phase of this segment, whatever the heck we're calling this, is local plans. Monica, we'll talk a little bit about that and lead it into this next piece.
Well, we just like to find out, like, what are your stomping grounds? Like, when you're thinking about the weekend, hopefully we're going to get good weather. Hoping for good weather. We got some weird weather this week, didn't we?
Don't look at AccuWeather.
We can't look back at all either.
It gets cold.
Oh.
Yeah.
But where do you like to go? What are your favorite places to kind of if you're making local plans around town, what are you doing on the weekend?
I have a teenage daughter who always wants new clothes. So we do a lot of thrifting.
Oh,
because I'm
love
frugal.
that.
The best thrift store is Community Threads on Rand Road in Arlington
Totally.
Heights.
Yes.
They don't put out junk. Everything they put out is really good. My daughter's always finding stuff to buy, and it's always less than $6. I love it. Now, their
Wow.
proceeds go to Sparrow's Nest, which is an emergency service for women in McHenry County. But I just care about the good stuff that I can buy for cheap.
Yeah.
So we're going thrifting this weekend.
Fantastic.
That sounds like a lot of fun. That is a good spot too. I worked at it when it just started. I think the models changed a little bit. Originally, they gave money to churches and they built it through volunteers. I think the labor side of it, and that's when I was a part of it. But we shop there all the time for our kids' stuff. We've gotten furniture
Such a
from
big
there.
deal.
It's good stuff
Yeah.
and it's totally reasonable. So now we should do like a thrift video
Yeah.
or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah. That would
That's a
be
different
cool.
topic for another day. Sorry, just sparked my brain. How about you, Eric?
For me, I think I told this weekend I'll be at Mellis Park for a baseball tournament, but
Yes.
if it was really good weather, a good family outing for us is we're a soccer family too in general, so
Yeah.
we'll like to go to Sauk Park in Rolling Meadows and do foot golf. I don't know if you guys have ever played
What
foot golf.
Played
is
football.
that?
Yeah.
Wait, if you've
Come
never,
on, can you try it?
I mean, I played soccer in college. My daughter's going to play soccer in college next year. My other daughter plays soccer in high school. My husband played soccer in high school. My son hates soccer, but he'll still go with us because he thinks it's fun. It's basically golfing, but with a soccer ball.
Get
And you
outta
put the
here.
ball, the holes are big enough to fit a soccer ball. So you just,
I've never heard
it's
of
on their
that.
disc golf course. And it's free and it's awesome. We just go.
Outside, you get
yeah.
a little. You're walking around.
We walk
moving
and we
around?
carry
Yeah.
our soccer balls, and you all
my
start. There's the same thing, a
gosh.
tee box. You have a certain number of strokes, to get to every hole. It's so fun, and yeah, it's just good.
That sounds like a great
It's a good
time.
family outing for us.
So where would you do that around here? Is
So
there certain
Sauk
parks?
Park is in Rolling Meadows.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know that big
Is that where the
Kimball
hill
Hill.
is? Okay, yeah,
It's
okay,
right
yeah,
by
for
there.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's really fun.
We
my
ride
God.
through there.
Yes.
There's like a trail that goes through it.
Yeah.
That'll take us
So
to
you've
Bussy
seen it. You
Woods.
just don't realize you've seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So now I'll be looking.
You know what? Because the frisbee golf, I cannot do.
yeah,
I
it's on the
cannot
same
do.
course.
Nobody wants me to play frisbee golf. It's dangerous if I were
There's
to
so
even try.
many jokes about you and being athletic right now. I'm not even going to say anything though. So keep it to myself.
I can't throw. I can't throw at all, and so to do that might be fun.
It's fun.
Of course, not like my kicking would be much better, but still, throwing is definitely out. So kicking, the soccer thing, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it is
my
fun.
kids would love that. Oh.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
sound like fun. Yeah. So we talked a little bit beforehand. What about what you're looking forward to? What are some upcoming events that you're going to be doing with Family Forward that
Sure.
you could let our audience know?
Well, we have an event this Tuesday night that we are hosting with the Arlington Heights Chamber and the Palatine Chamber. We're doing a business after hours at Hot Pockets in Palatine, so that's from 4:30 to 6:30. You don't have to be a member of either chamber to come, but you do have to register ahead of time. So you can go on either the Arlington Heights Chamber website or the Palatine Chamber website and register for that. And then our next big fundraiser event is our Family Forward, F-O-R-E. Get it?
Oh, love
Family
it.
Forward Golf
See what
Outing.
you did there,
Yes.
yeah.
That's on June 7th at Old Orchard Country Club in Mount Prospect, and we're looking for sponsors, golfers, of course.
So like shotgun golf type
It is
thing?
shotgun
Yeah,
at
cool.
noon. And yeah, so that'll be a good time. We're looking forward to that. June 7th at Old Orchard.
Cool. I can't believe we're talking about June
I
already.
know.
This is
It's
so exciting.
We're already at the end of April, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
What?
So, and if people want to learn more about Family Forward, your website, but how else can they follow and support you?
Yes. So we have our website at family-forward.org, and we're also on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. So that's good.
Yeah, super cool. Well,
If you're a low-income working family and you're interested in learning more about our program, or if you know someone, the person who you'll talk to is me, and I can talk through with you the family's individual situation and what's involved in applying to our program and what the mentoring process looks like. We do, thanks to our donors and fundraisers, we do have openings in our 2-year program of rent assistance and mentoring. So we're open for inquiries and people can call.
cool. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add too, we're always looking for volunteers, whether that's for being a mentor, but also we have, I mentioned earlier, our advisory board, if that's something of interest, not as big of a commitment as being on our full actual board, but we also have openings on our board too. And I'm specifically looking for any volunteers who are interested, creative, who want to, take advantage of their local library makerspace type of place. I love Palatine Library and Arlington Heights Library. I go to often to their makerspace workshop areas to make family forward swag for us that we're able to give out to donors and that sort of thing. I've made some beer glasses and some coffee cup. Well, not those. I didn't make those there yet. But I also made some cutting boards. So it's really fun. So I'm looking for volunteers who might want to be interested in doing that for us also.
Cool. Awesome. Well, you heard it, everybody.
Yes.
You got to support Family Forward. But thank you both for being here
Thank
today,
you so much.
For the conversation, just for what you're doing to help make our community stronger. It takes a village, so each one of us has a gift to be able to do it, and y'all obviously are doing that. So thank you very much. My friends, we love what we do. We love help amplifying the voices of local nonprofits and other local businesses here in the community. But at the end of the day, we are a Love Local Media agency. We help businesses and nonprofits thrive by helping them grow through building their brand through content. So if you need support with any of that, we would love to be able to do that. If you want to have a conversation about how to make our communities a better place, we want to talk about that too, because we do believe we're stronger together. So Monica, anything to say?
We are grateful. We are grateful, and it's fun to have this opportunity to have you here and to express what's going on with Family Forward, because I bet you we've got a couple more people now who know now what is going on in Arlington Heights. What a beautiful thing.
Yeah. If you don't know, now you know. Isn't that a rap song?
Yeah.
Right.
Don't know, now you know.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
It's our pleasure. So, my friends, we're going to head out. Have a good Friday and a great weekend, and hope you're able to get some rest and time with the family. Peace.
Peace.